Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the December 4th, 2025 Tri-County Water Board of Management meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. and ask our clerk to read the recommendation for the adoption of agenda.
The Tri-County Water Board hereby adopts the agenda for December 9th, 2025 as presented.
I have a motion on that. Thank you, Mayor Hens. Councillor Statham, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Approved. Thank you very much. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Anybody have any pecuniary interest concerns or conflicts of interest at this time or at another moment in the agenda? I see none. Okay, thank you. In your agenda package that our clerk sent to us, you had a copy of the previous minutes of the November 18th meeting. I'm sure you've had a chance to review them all. Any errors or omissions? Again, seeing no hands. Madam Clerk, could you read the recommendation?
The Tri-County Water Board hereby adopts the minutes of November 18th, 2025 as presented.
I have a motion. Councillor Statham, thank you very much. Councillor Drouillard, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thanks. All right, any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, hearing none. Moving on to staff reports, item number 6.1, the 2026 budget modeling. So Robin, are you going to begin this for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will start the report and then certainly hand it over to Mike if he has any further comments to make. So board, the last time we met, you asked us to go back and to model a few scenarios for you in order to address the 2028 capital project of the installation of the standpipe. And so with that request, Mike had put together 3 models. One model, I have to find where I am. The first model, which is the option is to eliminate the predicted 2028 deficit. And with that, it would see a 31-cent increase in the price per cubic meter of water as of July 2026. And then a 9-cent and 10-cent increases in 27 and 28 and 0 through 29 to 31. Note that then this recommendation would have your reserves pretty much being null in 2028, but then rebounding again thereafter. It is an option for you to consider. We noted the risks of this option being that 31 cents is on top of the price already, and that is in addition to the price that your local water systems have for their own asset and asset development. The second model that is before you is to maintain the annual rate increase in issue debt. And so this option looked at what we have been doing as a standard practice, which is a 10-cent per year increase. And so in this model, you would see a 10-cent increase through 26 through 2030. The recommendation, and Mike can speak to this a bit more, would be to maybe a $1.2 million debt. And that would leave a $400,000 within your reserves, being able to address the capital asset. Now, the challenge of this model certainly is at this moment in time, this board cannot assume debt. It's not in a structure to do so. So there would be some challenges whether that debt would then be borne upon by the municipality of West Elgin. And so I think that is the major challenge. To consider at this moment in time with this model. The third is a compromise model, which sees moderate increases and it reduces the residual debt. And so this one has a 20-cent increase from 2026 through 28. And then there's a 0 increase in 29 to 2031. All of these models bring the rate up to $1.87 by 2031. In this model, we will have a slight deficit that's only 154,000. And the recommendation would be one municipality, whether that be the municipality of West Elgin, as we were the primary owner of the plant until this board was developed, or proportionately share that debt when we come. So dividing 57 by the 4 municipalities that contribute to the system. This would allow us, I think, to get reasonably close to the cost of the standpipe. That is at what we are predicting it to be today. However, it doesn't completely address the debt. So, Mike, did you have any more comments to make? And then with this board, I guess it would also be for questions that you may ask.
Thanks, Robin. I think you did a really good job on kind of describing the high points and the low points of various options. I think that the board can see that we tried to do something that was consistent throughout them, that they would all end up with a little bit $4+ million reserves at the end, and they would all end up with $1.87 per cubic meter at the end of the 2031 timeframe. But obviously, there's a lot of variables that go into the early parts of it that makes up either higher reserve balances, minimal reserve balances, or negative reserve balances in 2028 after the standpipe. The $1.2 million estimate on the debt was basically just a guess at, protecting that you have enough of a balance in that reserve after 2028. That is obviously, once you have more information closer to the time frame, if the circumstances warranted it, you could decide a different amount. Any variable could be changed at any point. We just tried to do the best we could with laying out options for the board to determine whether you had a high increase in 2026, more moderate increases, or the option of debt, which, may be a challenge with the way that the board is structured right now.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so let's go around the room and see what everybody's thinking, and see if they have any questions. Who'd like to begin? Councillor Galbraith, hello. Did we lose you?
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nice to see you again, Mike. It's been a while. I know we were addressing the standpipe cost, but we also need to address was it 1.252 million for the SCADA project over the next 5 years? How do we capture that? That's obviously going to chew into the 4.2 million by the end of 2031.
So in the budget, the capital amounts that have been laid out from Aqua have been put into the model already, so that any drawdowns on the reserves that are taking place on the annual basis are in that before we actually have to, take the standpipe or anything else into consideration.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Darren.
Can you help if there's questions here in the room here, we can sort of help to answer.
Great. Yes, I saw a hand up in the gallery there.
Mike Scholden.
Mike Scholden, like the floor, please. Thank you. I'm just wondering, if the new governance model is approved, when will it take effect?
So the process of the new governance, if this board decides that it wishes to move towards an MSC, there's still quite a bit of runway. We would try to fast track that as we could, maybe to try and get it in before the next term of council. So it would still probably take a majority of the next year.
Probably the start of 2027.
If we can move quickly on it, you have to remember that whole process still has to go through the development of a business case. We still have to do public consultation. We have 4 municipalities, which we'll probably have to consult. So it will take all of 2026, I think, for us to.
But then at that point, these rates would be reconsidered and external financing could be considered at that point.
I think one of the challenges is that just because you have an MSC does not necessarily mean that that entity has capacity to borrow. Because it is a new entity, the banks are going to look at it and determine what does it have to leverage against. And so that what it can borrow will be dependent upon the assets of which this group decides would be transferred to that entity.
Okay, thank you.
I can't tell you what their borrowing capacity would be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Scholden. Mayor Hens.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Bill or Mike and Robin, for these reports. Exactly what we need to try and make an informed decision. I don't like heading down the road and having to issue debt in whatever form this water board ends up being. Personally, I like option one, but having said that, I think it's a leap too far. Option two doesn't work for me. I just will end up with too much debt going to somebody somehow. So option three seems palatable to me. And just think about this. In a number of years, we're going to end up at the same point, at $1.87. How quickly we get there, I think, is the question. So option three, I could live with. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Mayor Hens. Mayor Mayhew, did you have a comment?
Yes, in terms of structuring the new board and further to what Robin said, you can, once legal, get their hands on this. It will take 6 to 8 months. But don't forget that we have to establish a board of directors. And that will be an interesting process in itself that we might consider. Personally, I don't think people are going to be lined up to be on the board. I think we will have to really, search for the best candidates out there. If we go to that model, it's a tremendous amount of responsibility running a water system, and that will resonate with many people in the community and may dissuade them from wanting to be involved. But it's not just the ability to borrow money; it's the availability of grants. We were hoping too. And no one has a crystal ball, but I was certainly hoping that if we had a corporate position, we would be in a position where we could lobby the provincial government for some funding. Option number one is the quickest way to stability, but it is a hard pill to swallow. It's a little bit of sticker shock we'll experience with that. Option two, less stability, but an acceptable financial position. And option three, I think it's going to take. I think Robin's right. It's going to take time to get that together. I would like to have that established in our terms of government. Okay, we are the ones that approved it, so it would be, I think, even morally correct if we have our hands on that to see it come to fruition. I know, for us to make the decision to go corporate and have it half done and another council comes in, I would like to see, if we do go corporate, I would like to see it completed within the year. There's about 340 days left in our terms of governance. And I sure would like to see it fast tracked. I thought I was leaning towards option two, but my ears are open for discussion from other members to hear what they have to say.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. Anyone else? Councillor Statham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question, maybe for Robin, about the structuring of that 1.2 million in debt facility. How would that be divided amongst municipalities, or is there any? I'm sorry, I'm not an accountant. How would that be spread out amongst the municipalities that are involved? Is this something that would solely rest with West Elgin, or how would that work? Maybe you could shed a little bit of light on that for me.
May I ask Mike to tag team me with this here? So I think we could look at a debt vehicle. If we do not have a different governance board, it would probably have to be the municipality of West Elgin, either assuming that debt, where then we would then front the money and then charge interest and be repaid back over a period of time. West Elgin would then have to look at to its own probably into its own financials to understand if it could accept that, or it would go out and seek a loan from a bank, at which that could be paid back, and then there would have to be sort of a proportionate payback, I think, for doing so. Otherwise, each municipality would take a proportionate share, and I believe we do the proportionate share by water usage or by our consumption levels. So at that time, we would look at sort of each municipality would take its proportionate share. So we have West Elgin, I think, is at 48%. I have to remember the numbers. Southwest Middlesex, I believe you're around 34, and then divide out, and then each municipality would have to contribute to the repayment of the debt based on its proportionate usage. Mike, is that correct? Was that your assumption?
Yes, Robin, I think, there's a varied options. If you don't have the right structure in place, then if debt was the choice, then, you could work out an agreement amongst the group to determine whether, an individual entities want to hold a component of the debt, but it's certainly cleaner if one entity has the debt for sure.
Thank you for that question, Councillor Statham, and thank you, Robin and Mike. Darren, do you have another thought?
Yeah, so I'll just shed some light on what Chatham-Kent, what we've gone through. We went through our rate study in 2024, and I've got in front of me here. So the 2025 we increased by 25 cents. Next year's 25 cents. The next year's like 26 or 28 cents. We have a huge debt we are trying to deal with. But when I look at the Model 1, if we are going to charge the customers the extra 31 cents, and we're not going to have to go back in Model 3 and go to each individual municipality for extra money, the way I see it is the larger water users are going to pay more of that fee. Like the onus of the debt of the amount is going to be put on the users. I hear time and time again from seniors, my water bill keeps going up. I'm trying to conserve water. What do I do? So what we've started doing is kind of increasing our monthly charge more. But what I'm getting at here is the water, people that are actually using more of the water are going to be paying more of this debt going towards the standpipe. So that's kind of my philosophy of 1 versus 3. I know 31 cents is a hard hit, and I've heard it in Chatham-Kent last year for 25 cents. And I'll hear it again in January when I go up again another quarter. But that's my philosophy, is just that the users that are using it the most are going to pay the most versus everybody. That's just my thoughts.
If I might, Mr. Chair, Darren, when Chatham-Kent is increasing their rates 25%, but it's a single system, correct? So then they wouldn't have a secondary system on top of it. So as the Tri-County, 31 cents is just the cost for the Tri-County system. Anything that the local municipality needs to do for its own asset management would be charging additional costs as well.
Yeah, I understand. So
do you know what your rate is in Chatham-Kent overall?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you. So 2026, we're going to be $1.88.
Okay.
And if you want to work to 2031 to where you're wanting to get to the $1.87, we're going to be sitting at $3.02.
Which could be comparable because we would put on the local charge on top of the $1.87.
And by then, 2031, my monthly charge is going to be $37. We have close to $1 billion of debt we're going to have to go through and in 10 years on all the construction and life cycle and growth we're going to do. So yeah, I agree. Because Chatham-Kent, we do pay extra fees, Newberry as well. We're actually, since we are not area rated in Chatham-Kent, we're actually losing money on the Bothell system because the Bothell water is more expensive to purchase through the Tri-County. But that's the way Chatham-Kent is set up today.
Thanks, Darren. A couple questions I have. First of all, this is for staff and for Aqua as well. Do you foresee any other unexpected capital expenditures over the next 2 or 3 years that could catch us off guard in the midst of an otherwise really solid plan here?
We have nothing in our recommendations in the next 3 years. There's nothing big coming before that standpipe project. We've actually looked at like 10 years and like there's nothing as big as the standpipe in that turn.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. And Robin, just just as we're contemplating these different options, and option three with regards to potentially one municipality incurring the debt. And I respect the fact that you were very cautious there with regards to how West Elgin, if West Elgin was the participating municipality to incur that debt, whether or not we would be able to manage that simply through reserves or through borrowing some of those funds. I think that if we were to go back to West Elgin with this discussion, the question is going to be how is it that we're going to manage that? So I'm just curious if it's even worth like bringing it back to West Elgin without sort of an idea of how we would manage that. So my question is, would we be able to manage supporting this debt simply with reserves? Is that something that would be possible?
My concern comes with, and I have to take my board hat off and go then to my municipality. My concern becomes with West Elgin. Well, do we have the funds available? Yes, we do today. Are we going to have them available in 2028? Understanding we're also in a position in West Elgin to look at, how are we going to go forward with the debenturing of our drains and water issues that we know is also a question that we have. And then it just becomes an issue of then cash flow, because the debenture well, I guess in this case, Mike, I think the prediction would be that it would be holding debt or issuing debt then just for approximately 1 year. Correct? This wouldn't be a long-term, this would not be long-term debt.
Right. And the amount, I mean, obviously estimates can fluctuate wildly,
Yeah.
but if it was in the $150,000 range, there was a deficit in that reserve. The feeling is that, West Elgin could probably manage that within their overall reserve portfolio and just charge, whatever interest there would be if in lieu of borrowing it itself.
Sorry, I was concerned this is going to be a long term, but this is just a 1 year turnaround.
Yeah, it should just be 1 year, and then with the increases the following year and the lower cost on capital, that it should be back into the black in the following year.
Thanks, Mike, and thank you, Robin. Councillor Statham.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think when I'm looking at this, I see Model 3 is clearly, in my view, the winner, just in terms of the amount of interest that we would pay on that loan over the course of 1 year. Let's say maybe $20,000, $30,000 of interest versus long-term debt of $300,000 to $400,000 of interest paid over the term. Model 3 also has very low risk to the municipality. So I understand that borrowing sometimes is necessary, but I just can't see that amount of debt being extended to one municipality when it can be sort of negligible for a 1 year term. That makes a lot more sense to me personally, but just wanted to put that forward.
Thank you, Councillor Statham.
And if I might, Chair, at this moment in time, we would be making anticipated decisions as to what the Council of 2028 would decide. You just have to remember that councils in this board will look different in 2028. So we're making decisions on how we want to handle today, but we are making assumptions on how a board and council will see them in 2028.
Thanks for that, Robin. Anybody else have any other thoughts on this? I sense that we are beginning to lean towards option 3, but I would like everybody here to have the opportunity to either agree with that or express their concern and have us and maybe I'm off on this. Mayor Mayhew.
Thank you, Chair. I know I like efficiency, and I like to make decisions with good information quickly and competently. But I personally, I would like to have the opportunity to run this by my finance department to have a look at this and to work as a team at coming up to a preference. I don't know if anyone else has that feeling. I know that we are our own entity and do our own financing, but I'm looking at my users and I'm wondering if our finance department can see their way for a preference on these three. Mike, I don't know if you feel that, but I'm not sure whether Denise
You're wanting
was-
to take the cost of what the increases would be and then add them to your own local charges?
Yeah, and we have a new treasurer, Denise. She seems extremely good at analysis, and I'm just wondering if I don't even know if she's had the opportunity to see this. Sure. No, I'm not, and that's the if I put my hand up to one of these three recommendations slowly, that would be the reason that I would be thinking, what's my treasury think of that? I tried to touch base with Amanda before I came here today, who I know has been
He's on.
yeah, and yeah.
Did you want her to speak to it or?
I think we share similar opinions, but yes, if the chair would allow that, I would very much like to have our CAO speak to it. And she would know if Denise has had an opportunity to review this as well.
Amanda, I have set it to allow to talk if you would like to speak.
Thank you, Terry, and thanks, Board and Mayor Mayhew, for the opportunity. Mayor Mayhew, a great point, and I'm sure members of the board share the same concern with overall water rates. And our finance team has had a preliminary review of these numbers, and as disclosed to Mayor Mayhew and Southwest Middlesex members of the board today, is essentially any increase approved to the Tri-County water rates would impact our Southwest Middlesex rates. So the decision on how great that would be between the options provided really does rest with you as representatives on the board. Of course, the municipality would be happy to run financial analysis to provide some more information to our councillors if that was your wish. Absolutely, we'd be happy to. But in terms of a clear preference, I think there's a number of factors to weigh here for the board. One of them being your local water rates, the other being the capital needs, of course, of the Tri-County Board. A clear recommendation from staff. Unfortunately, Mayor Mayhew is not available at this moment.
Thank you, Amanda. It's certainly Amanda brings up a really important part, which is, we have three recommendations here. The second one obviously isn't one that is going to fly. The first one puts all of this work on the front end of the backs of the users, whereas option three it reduces the cost on the user and also put some of it back onto the Tri-County Board to incur that and spread that over time, which then impacts the user to the same, but to a lesser pace, which I think is important because people and I know that regardless of whether it's a 20 cent per cubic meter increase or a 31 cent, it's all going to be an increase, and that's what people are going to see. But at the very least, with option three, it's a hybrid model that we can look back and to the users and say, this is what we've done to try to reduce the burden on you as a user the best we can. Any other thoughts, comments? Do we have enough of a?
Yeah, Chair, if I could, the aspect of growth perhaps has not been taken into these considerations, or has it, Robin? Like Glencoe is looking at probably another 300 homes between now and 2030. So I'm wondering how that will impact it. I know Dutton is doing very well. Yeah, you'll have some building there. And you know, our we have 5 plans of subdivision in Southwest Middlesex that are on our drawing board. So I'm hoping that they're heavy water users when they buy these homes.
Mike, did you want to respond to that, or?
Yes, please. So in the model, we've put in a 2% increase in usage for each of the years. So the 2026 amount is basically on the 2025 usage, which was up. And then we've used 2% per year increase through the rest of the model.
Yeah, Mike, that answers that. That's fine. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. Thank you, Mike. Anybody else? Do we have enough of a consensus to support a recommendation?
Councillor Denning, Don McCollum would like to speak.
Yeah,
Councillor McCollum.
I like option 3 there. It takes a big chunk out of the number 1, and it'll help along selling the program, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McCollum, for that.
Councillor Schuldeis has his hand up.
I'd like to move option 3, please.
Do you want to, Madam Clerk, will you read the recommendation that's just been motioned?
You would like me to read the full recommendation that was included in the report?
The full recommendation with option 3, just so everybody can hear what we're.
The recommendation is that the Tri-County Water Board hereby receives the 2026 draft budget modeling report from Robin Greenall, Administrator, and that the Tri-County Water Board direct the administration to implement budget model number 3, and that the Tri-County Water Board approved the proposed 2026 budget.
Okay, thank you for that. So we have a motion from Councillor Schuldeis. Looks like a seconder, Mayor Hentz. Thank you for that. Any further discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you very much for that, everybody. That's incredibly difficult yet important work that we've accomplished here together this evening. So thank you for that.
Mr. Chair, we have a hand up. Mr. Schuldeis?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm just wondering if the 154,000, if West Elgin was going to assume that, does that need to be in the motion?
If I might, Mr. Chair, I think what we're doing is predicting that's what the debt will be. Again, that debt will be, I think, at the direction of the board of that time and the direction of the council of that time.
Thank you for that. Councillor Statham.
Sorry, it was 154 to 400,000. Is that correct? That was the range. Did I read that right in the report? Sorry, I may have misread it.
Mike,
I think right now there's a prediction that the reserve would be short of approximately 154,000, but that's going to be bear upon what is the actual cost for the replacement. It's also going to bear upon, do we have any other major infrastructure issues that might pop up between now and then, and anything else that can draw down onto your reserve. And it also would bear upon, are we increasing our water rates more than the 2% per year? Or are we not increasing it the 2% a year? So that's just an estimate to show you this is a prediction model. But I wouldn't say in 2028 that we're going to hang our hat that that's going to be the exact model. It's just at this moment in time, that's where we assume we will land.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Statham. Okay. I believe that concludes our business for this evening. So I think the final responsibility
Mr. Chair,
is
we have
adjournment.
one more.
Chair, just
Yep.
one more hand. Mr. Chair, I think all of us in this room will agree, and particularly staff, that communication is very, very important in how we spin this to our ratepayers. When you talk about the funds necessary for the West Lawrence standpipe. The average person on the street, if they're from Southwest Middlesex or perhaps Dunwich, they may say, why are we paying all this to finance the water tower of West Lawrence? Like, is that West Lawrence standpipe? That is a critical part of the infrastructure of the Tri-County system. And Sam, you're nodding your head there. And I think it doesn't have the best name. It would be better if it was called the Tri-County Water Standpipe. People would understand where their money's going. But because of that prefix West Lawrence, it is somewhat confusing to the individuals who are maybe not informed as much about the Tri-County system. They drink the water, but they don't necessarily know where it comes from. Sam, just enlighten us on the importance of that standpipe to the Tri-County system.
Yeah, through the chair. It is the central hub of the Tri-County system. The official name of it is the Tri-County Water Treatment System standpipe. Like in the official MECP documents and things like that. Essentially what it does is it provides pressure to all the systems. So it's kind of the central hub where all the water comes from the plant. It goes there. It feeds the Glencoe Reservoir. It supplies pressure to the north end of Dunwich. It's just the central hub where all the water from the plant essentially goes there first, and then is distributed from there out to the different systems. We'll have an opportunity to call it and paint on it, whatever the board chooses in 2028. So yeah, we can definitely put the Tri-County Water Board, or like Lambton Area Water Supply, all of their standpipes, whether in Watford or Port Lambton or anything like that, they all say Lambton Area Water Supply. So it's definitely not a bad idea there for sure.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Hance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's important to get this information to all the membering municipalities on Tri-County. Dunwich, and I'm proud to say we're pretty well along on our budget process already, way ahead of normal. So the sooner our treasurer gets the information that we've just formalized tonight, the better.
Thanks, Mayor Hance.
If I might, Mr. Chair, we'll draft a communication to go out. And just remember that this doesn't take place, this change doesn't take place until July 1st, 2026. So it won't be hitting January 1st, but of course that's communication you'll want to make sure each community is aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Councillor Drouillard.
Yes, I was just, after I listened to Sam speak there, I'm hoping that going forward, we can stop referring to it as the West Lawrence standpipe. I think that would give a clearer understanding to everyone that's being served by the Tri-County Water. So if we could do that, I mean, even if you hyphenate it to say West Lawrence, but going forward, I think that it just gives a clearer picture to the users.
Yeah, it's a good point. Agreed. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for your time this evening. I have a motion for adjournment. Mayor Mayhew.
Yep.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Statham. All in favor? Thank you, everybody, and have a good evening. Safe drive home.
Good evening. I know.
Thank you.